Hey there, and welcome. Have you ever stopped to think about how your body coordinates, well, everything? We're talking trillions of cells, all working together without you ever having to lift a finger. It's all thanks to this incredible silent communication network. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how it works. So, think about this for a second. We all get how the nervous system works, right? It's like the body's electrical wiring, sending super fast signals. But what about all the other stuff? The slower processes, the things that happen over hours or days or even years. How does that wireless network function? Well, the answer is the endocrine system and its very own chemical messengers. All right, so here's the game plan. We're going to start with the messengers themselves, what they are and what they're made of. Then we'll see how they actually deliver those messages to your cells. After that, we'll zoom in on one superstar organ, the pancreas, and look at the critical balancing act it performs. And finally, we'll explore what happens when that communication line goes down.
Okay, first things first. Let's get to know the absolute stars of this whole show, the chemical messengers that run the entire operation. You know, as we just touched on, your body has these two major communication grids. The nervous system is like sending a text message. It's lightning fast, direct, point to point. The endocrine system, though, that's more like a radio broadcast. It sends its messages out into the bloodstream for any cell with the right receiver to pick up. It's slower, but it has a much wider reach.
So what are these messages? Well, we call them hormones. The simplest way to think of a hormone is as a chemical instruction. It's made in one part of the body, gets dumped into the bloodstream, and travels to another part of the body to tell it what to do. They are, quite literally, the body's original information superhighway.
And here's the thing. Not all hormones are built the same. They come in all sorts of different chemical shapes and sizes. Some are big, bulky proteins, like insulin. Others are much smaller, made from fats, like steroid hormones. And this difference in their structure is absolutely crucial because it dictates how they get their message across, which we're about to see.
Which, of course, leads us to the next big question. A message is totally useless if no one can read it, right? So how do these hormones actually talk to our cells and give them their marching orders?
Let's take those steroid hormones first. Because they're small and made of fat, they basically have an all-access backstage pass. They can slip right through the cell's outer wall, find a special receptor protein waiting for them inside, and together they march right into the cell's headquarters, the nucleus, to start bossing the DNA around. It's a total inside job. This chart lays it out perfectly. You've got two completely different strategies here. The big protein hormones can't get in the door, so they have to ring the doorbell. They bind to a receptor on the outside of the cell and set off a chain reaction from there. But the steroid hormones, they have the key. They walk right in and change things from the inside out. All right, enough with the theory. Let's get into a real-world example. And honestly, there's no better case study than the pancreas. It's this amazing hybrid factory that's juggling two completely different but equally vital jobs. So the vast majority of your pancreas is busy making digestive enzymes. But if you look closely, scattered all throughout it, you see these tiny little clusters of different-looking cells. They look like little islands in a sea of tissue. These are the islets of Langerhans. They only make up about 1 or 2% of the whole organ, but wow, do they have an incredibly important job. And if we zoom in even further on these little islands, you find this whole crew of specialized cells. You've got at least 4 different types here, and each one is responsible for making a specific hormone. Now, they all have a role to play, but for right now, we're going to focus on the 2 heavy hitters in blood sugar control, the alpha cells making glucagon and the beta cells making insulin. So what is the main mission for these pancreatic hormones? Well, they're in charge of one of the most critical balancing acts in your entire body, managing your blood sugar, which is the main fuel that keeps you going every single second. This is really where the magic happens. Insulin and glucagon are perfect opposites. They're in this constant dance to keep your blood sugar just right. When you eat a meal and your blood sugar goes up, the beta cells release insulin. Insulin is the key that unlocks your body's cells, telling them, hey, grab the sugar out of the blood and store it. But if your blood sugar starts to dip, the alpha cells release glucagon, which tells your liver, okay, time to release some of that stored sugar back into the blood. It's this beautiful push and pull system. And to give you a sense of just how powerful this system is, get this. A single gram of islet tissue, that's about the weight of a paperclip, can hold around 150 units of insulin. It's an unbelievably efficient little factory packed into a tiny, tiny space. So we've seen this beautifully orchestrated system, right? A perfect dance of hormones, keeping everything in balance. But what happens when the music stops? What happens when this communication network starts to fail? Well, that brings us to a condition that many of us know all too well: diabetes.
At its most basic level, diabetes mellitus is a communication breakdown. The two big signs are hyperglycemia, which is just a fancy word for high blood sugar, and glycosuria, which means there's so much sugar in the blood that it starts spilling out into the urine. And the main culprit? A lack of insulin. That all-important lower the blood sugar signal just isn't getting through.
And this breakdown sets off a devastating domino effect. It all starts with the beta cells, the insulin factories. They either get damaged or just stop working correctly. Without enough insulin, sugar gets trapped in the bloodstream. Your cells can't get the fuel they need. They're literally starving, even though there's plenty of food around. So in desperation, the body starts burning fat and protein for energy, which just throws your entire metabolism into chaos.
And so we end right back where we started, with a question. This silent wireless network of hormones is doing everything from managing our energy to guiding our growth. It is absolutely fundamental. The story of the pancreas is a powerful and sometimes tragic reminder of just how critical that communication is. And it leaves us with one final thought to chew on. What happens when the body's most crucial communication system breaks down? It's a question that researchers and doctors work to answer every single day. Thanks for joining me.